Hey everybody, it is Andrew and welcome back to my channel. And it is time for another edition of Pop Culture. Alright, got my little champagne. Let's open this bad boy up. Who doesn't love a bendy straw on their champagne? So last night was the 2017 Miss USA Pageant. And I've been following the Miss Universe organization's pageants for a while now, since I think elementary school. I love watching Miss Universe, Miss USA, Miss Teen USA. I don't know. I just like that. It interests me. So last night was Miss USA and I'm gonna review it for you guys, and I know what you're probably thinking. Andrew, what gives you any kind of credibility in reviewing pageants? Well, you guys might not know this, but I, myself, am a pageant winner. Take a look.
Now announcing 2017 Mr. Sleeping Cat.
So, like I said, I've been through this, I've been in their shoes, and I know what it takes to win a crown. Let's start with performances. They had 3 performers. First was Michael Jackson won a Cirque du Soleil performance. They were so cool. They had a bunch of dancers, they had guys on these like wheelie things, like driving around the stage. They performed during the intro when they were introducing the contestants. It was really cool. It was a great touch to the show, especially since the show was in Vegas. It was fitting. Then they had Brett Eldredge perform during Evening Gown. He was good, but a little boring. Sad song. Sad song. But yeah, I mean, he was good. He was good for what he was singing. And then they had Pitbull perform with some guy. I didn't write down his name because I'm a bad journalist. During the final look with the top 3. And they did great too. They got the crowd pumped and ready for the crowning moment. So performances, I have no complaints there. They were all incredible, great show. I wish there was more. But where I do have a complaint is, I felt like overall this year's telecast was so much less about the contestants and more about just random things. In the past, they'd have each of the contestants introduce themselves at the microphone with their name, age, and then the state they were representing. They didn't do that this year. They just kind of had the girls walk and somebody pre-recorded would say their state name. We don't know their name, we don't know how old they are, whatever. So that was one thing. And then another thing is they cut the group of finalists down from the top 15 to the top 10. So that's 5 girls that didn't get to compete, that should have gotten to compete. Whatever, it's a little change. They kind of focus more on those 10 girls, but even so, I still feel like they were focusing more on how diverse they were as opposed to the girls themselves. And nothing's wrong with being diverse and celebrating the diversity, but I definitely feel like they were playing up a lot about how diverse the Miss USA pageant is. So, then they revealed the top 10, and I will go over them with you guys now. So first was Minnesota. She was an ex-dancer and now she's a college student. She tore both of her something in her feet, so she can no longer dance. And now she's a college student. Next was New Jersey. She was an immigrant from India. She came over when she was 4 years old and they played up on that a lot. Miss Missouri was next. She was the first Black African-American young lady to win the state crown in Missouri. Next was Tennessee. She's a law student studying entertainment law because she wants equal pay for women and men in the entertainment industry. Next was California, who is an entrepreneur. I don't think they said what she does, but she's an entrepreneur. Then was District of Columbia, who is a nuclear scientist and she works for the government. Next was South Carolina, who is a nurse. Next, New York, who is a sports journalist. and a pit reporter. She does like NASCAR, stuff like that, or like bike, BMX, I don't know. Next was Illinois, and she is a dancer for a sports team. And last was Alaska. And they said she's very interested in different cultures that she studies in school. And they focus a lot on the fact that she is from Alaska, and I think she's the first delegate from Alaska to ever advance past the top 15 or whatever. So those are the top 10. So yeah, after swimsuit and evening gown, they were cut down to the top 5, which were Minnesota, Illinois, South Carolina, DC, and New Jersey. And then it was time for the question round. The top 5 questions, they were each asked questions based off of some website or some person asked them all questions. All the questions were fair. Nobody seemed to have harder questions than the girl before them. Like last year, they threw some pretty big curveballs. But this year, they were pretty fair, and all the girls did well. You're always waiting for that one girl to stumble or to freeze, and all 5 of them did great. From there, they were cut from 5 to 3. So the top 3 ended up being District of Columbia, Minnesota, and New Jersey. Now, these 3 were definitely the front runners from the beginning. There's something about them. They each had this presence, and they're also different. So, top 3 round, they all had the same question. It's called the final word. They all had the same question. They were all asked, what do you consider feminism to be, and do you consider yourself a feminist? Again, they all did great in answering their questions. DC and Minnesota kind of did the typical pageant answer and kind of beat around the bush of what they were being asked. They mentioned feminism and they talked about how important it was, but they kind of went off on a tangent on whether they were a feminist or not. New Jersey, however, was the only one who answered the question straight up and talked about how, yes, she does feel like she's a feminist and that there's nothing wrong with being a feminist. So after that was the final look. So then it was time for Deshauna Barber, Miss USA 2016, to take her final walk, and she revealed very sad news that her mother passed away 3 months after she was crowned Miss USA. And the pageant happened to take place on Mother's Day, so they did a bunch of little tributes to the girls' moms and Deshauna's mom. And Deshauna said that she was going to do her final walk with her natural afro hair instead of wearing hair extensions or a hair weave. So she did her final walk, kind of doing her last official duty as Miss USA. And then they announced the runners-up. Minnesota came in at second runner-up. And New Jersey was the first runner-up, and DC won back-to-back. Last year, Deshauna was from District of Columbia, and this year, what is her name? Cara, I'm gonna mess up her last name. It is Cara McAuliffe. I'm sure I'll learn it by next year. So she was crowned Miss USA, and she looked a little shocked. I don't think she probably thought Jersey was gonna win. I thought Jersey was gonna win, even though I'm very pleased with the choice in DC. Overall, it was a great show, and wish all the best of luck to Cara, the new Miss USA. If you guys enjoyed this episode of Pop Culture, please let me know down below. I'll do way more of them. I can always talk about entertainment news. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Remember to hit the subscribe button. I put out new videos every single week. And that's it. I will see you guys next week. Bye!